Because to ensure the stability of financing, there are a lot of ways, there are a lot of means that you can practice. But in this paper, is specifically how do you do it through regulation and laws. So I have 3 parts that I'm going to discuss within this 10 minutes. And I'm informing Mr. Chairman, I prepared this paper just to fit in for 10 minutes. But if I go on crossing, you can remind me. Number 1, I will touch on the definition and the introduction. Number 2, why co-op needs financial sustainability. Why the financing of cooperative very, very important to be sustainable. And the third one is our own experience, Malaysian experience. How do we do it? Through legislative, through rules and regulation and bylaws. Okay, next. In fact, if any cooperative, they don't have significant liabilities, very little liabilities. That means they can having their financing stable. But if the cooperative has got a lot of liabilities, then the cooperative is in trouble. Number 2, income diversification. The cooperative must have several incomes, not only from one source, but it should be from various sources in the cooperative. Because the cooperative usually they do a lot of projects, but I really appreciate the Japanese and Vietnam. If they are agricultural cooperative, they do only agriculture. They don't do anything else. And that's why their members are solely, specifically farmers, so that their aspiration in the cooperative is taken care of. Otherwise, all people can go into the cooperative, can become members, then during the General Assembly, all sort of aspiration from members will crop up, and that would be difficult. And that's why most of the cooperative, if you don't specify your membership, then it will be creating a lot of unnecessary problem. And then any cooperative does not depend on other resources. Whatever specific resources they have, they should manage the resources, and then they can get the full result from the resources they have. Next. All right. Why cooperatives need financial sustainability? Many primary cooperatives, very small cooperatives, especially in the rural villages, they have no money, no cash flow. It's very difficult. So it must be financially sustainable so that they can go on with their project. Why? Why they must have financial sustainability? Number 1, as you know, the cooperative is everywhere, as what we have heard in the papers yesterday presentation, today's presentation, is for livelihood for our members. If you make a lot of money, just now crop up. Are you going to make money? Are you going to make profit? If you make a lot of money, but you leave out your members, that is not cooperative. You make money, and at the same time, you spend the money for their community development. Now I'm in Malaysia. A big challenge now we are facing, because the government has launched the transformation program. Now, transformation program, there's one scope that touches the new economic level, new economic model of development in economy. New economic model. Now, in the new economic model, there are 3 objectives which Koperasi should study very hard and should have a real planning so that we can help the government to achieve their objective. Number 1, high income. Now, cooperatives is small, for example, in the rural places, very small. Land is small, resources are small, but the government says high income. I mean, at the end of 2020, we want the cooperative, or we want the people in Malaysia earn at least 50 Malaysian ringgit. Then we should have a planning, strategic planning, how to do project with high income delivered to our members. That's one. Number two, in the model economy, it said very clearly that the project must be sustainable. That means we can afford to do project 1 year, 2 years, and then it stop. It should be sustainable. And people in the world now, everywhere is talking sustainability. Whatever they do, they say sustainable. Even I'm in the ANGKASA cooperative now. Oil palm, they say, it must be sustainable. If not sustainable, then we don't buy your oil palm. So, number three, the objective of the new economic model is inclusiveness. That means all citizens of Malaysia, all people in Malaysia should have equal share of the cake, which include cooperative. Now, in Malaysia, we have got 7.6 million members from 10,000 cooperatives. Can we really service the 7.6 million to have equal share of the cake? How do we do that? That is our big challenge, because the government says the three objectives of the new economic model should be achieved in 2020. Can cooperatives play their role to submit to the government? Say, now the cooperative is very successful, we have a lot of money, and then all our members, 7.6 million, the income now achieved very high. So, to do that, all cooperatives in our country, they must have a sustainable financing capital. If otherwise, we cannot achieve that. But the big companies, big companies like the Dato, like some other big companies, they have no problem, because their capital is sustainable. They have got money to spend and to do sort of a little bit of commitment in the community development. That is our purpose. We must have a sustainable financing to support livelihood. Number two, we got to stimulate cooperative business. Even every General Assembly or members, 7.6, they have their own General Assembly every year. They talk about project, and where is my share in a cooperative. So to do that, we must have a sustainable, ensure the financing is sustainable. And then to provide training, we need money. We need injection of money, of capital to do our training. In cooperative, there are three elements of training, very, very important. Number one is to provide them knowledge, and then skill. The third one, to me, is very, very important, is attitude. Attitudinal change. For example, a member of the cooperative is not very sure what to do. He has knowledge, he has got skill, but his attitude is negative. So we got to change the negative attitude to positive. Even according to the Harvard University, said 80% of the successful people, successful project comes from attitude. If the attitude is wrong, I think the whole thing will be upside down. That's why I really appreciate the Japanese Koperasi, because I have visited the cooperative in Japan. They said, I asked them, why your cooperative is so successful? They said, because of my people. They never say because of my money. They never say because of my income. They said because of my people. That means they have developed the people very, very effectively. And that's why we talk about provide training and awareness must done by the cooperative. Next one. So, how do we do that? Through legislative means. How do we do that? Through our act, cooperative act, by laws. How do we do that? So we are under the Cooperative Societies Commission. Then Cooperative Society Commission have prepared a cooperative act and pass it to the parliament, passed by the government. So the cooperative act, we use cooperative act to prepare our own individual cooperative bylaws. Each cooperative in Malaysia, they got their own bylaws. And these bylaws sometimes a little bit different from, but don't go away from the basic act, 1993. Cannot, because the commission will take care and will check whether we have our own bylaws according to the Cooperative Act. So our reference is the two Cooperative Act 1993 and Cooperative Bylaws. So what do we have among the members? We have shares, but the shares are now is various. Some got 100 Malaysian dollars, some 1,000, some 50,000, some 100,000. The shares. So these shares is not enough to give a real capital, to be sustainable capital to the cooperative. And that is the issue that we got to really address to. And then savings. In savings, the cooperative, by their own bylaws, they can insert a clause there. Members can save money, so much to the cooperative. And there is a rules and regulation how you withdraw, how you use your saving. It is stipulated there in the Act. Next. And we get also external financing through borrowing. And now we have got banks, the cooperative bank, Satuan Bank, which is a station in Penang, we can borrow there. The ANGKASA was about to build up, to have its own bank. We call it Bank ANGKASA for the cooperators. But then the government, I don't know, they would prefer, don't call it a bank. So we change it into a cooperative, COPSHA. That means a COPSHA is a cooperative, but running just like a bank. They give loans, they give shares, and they do exactly like bank. Don't you think they call it bank because I think of the reason the government has got its own reason. So borrowing here is not a problem. And then even commission, SKM, our commission, they give loans, they give grant to the cooperative, 7.6 million people and about 10,000 cooperative. You just apply, they give. That is why when the government give loan or give money to the cooperative, they must regulate. They just cannot, you take $1 million, okay, up to you. It's impossible. So that's why yesterday there was a discussion, are we going to introduce regulate, are we going to regulate, or we just be really self-reliant so that they can really manage? To me, developing countries must be regulated initially. Then there will be disengagement for a few years. The cooperative must be educated, must be taught how to really, one day they should go for self-reliant. We just cannot say, you must cooperative, you form a cooperative, you self-reliant. Cannot. It must be through education. That's right.
Last 2 minutes.
Oh, thank you very much. So at least I know the 2 minutes. So the third one, profit making cooperative. In Malaysia, any cooperative that make a net profit of 50,000 more, they got to contribute. Number one, to cooperative education fund. Number two, 2% of the net profit. They must contribute to that. So any cooperative who make profit more than 50,000 net got to pay 2%. And then 1% for the development fund. And this are the money, development fund is held by the commissions, cooperative commission in Malaysia. So they got their committee, they got their procedures, and they got everything there, how to release the loan and how to pay back, and what happens if they don't pay back, and what happens if they do something else with the money. Everything must be regulated. Otherwise, I think, because especially in my experience with rural people, I go back to my attitude concept. They must have a positive attitude. Unless they have positive attitude, everything, so multi-practices will occur. So we got to educate them first, and then we disengage them. Maybe after 10 years, maybe 15 years. Then the cooperative development fund, 1%, next. And then the profit-making cooperative has got also to contribute 15% to the statutory reserve fund. This reserve fund means any project which might be a failure later, then we can use this money to finance. The government may use the word bailing, you see, but we have got the process, we have got the clause there in Cooperative Act. And then cooperative, if possible, they must allocate 5% at least for profit for CSR activities. And dividend, specifically mentioned, not more than 10%, but not exactly 10%. It can be more, provided the approval is from Commission. We got to ask Commission if we want to pay more than 10%. Like my cooperative, I got a cooperative plantation. Last year we paid 15%. Now we ask for 20%. But we got to ask Commission. And normally the Commission, they will study our account, they will study the rationale why we should pay and why we shouldn't pay. Then nothing to be scared of regulation. So I think the regulation is for our own good, for the good of the cooperative. And one day when they have practiced all the good practices through regulation, then leave it. They will be on their own. They will be successful, and they will. That is the time where we disengage them. Next, before I end my deliberation, now I want to bring one thing for the ICA to be put in a joint declaration or whatever somewhere. Now I'm in the agriculture cooperative. Development of agriculture, you got to fell the trees to plant rubber tree, to plant oil palm. But the developed countries say you plant, you destroy a tree, that you spoil the whole environment. But we have got 50% remain jungle. Like America, 33%. They said, please don't fell your jungle. Is it fair? So ICA should take this matter, bring up, because most of my cooperative members in agriculture, they plant oil palm, and that is the most golden crop that really safe they increase their income and is a really poverty redressal crop. It's a golden crop. Now the world say your oil palm is no good. ICA must do something because ICA is global. You know, especially in Europe and Australia. It has started, and Malaysian government spent millions of dollars to counter, just to counter for nothing. We have been enjoying oil palm for since 1980s, 1990s, but after 1990s, we are under pressure. Cooperators association like ICA, please think of this and bring it to the world, like ILO, for example. So this is just my proposal. So thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.